Hello everyone, Tess Thomas here from Clay County Historical and Arts Council. Welcome back to another episode of One-on-One with Clay County History. Today we're just off the square of Hayesville, North Carolina at the Old Jail Museum with Mr. Rob Tiger. Rob, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I wonder if you'll just start us out with explaining how the Tigers came to Clay County.
My great-grandfather, Peter Tiger, came here in the 1870s. I'm not sure of the exact date, prior to 1875, I think. And he had met his wife, Mary Patterson, in Colorado, southern Colorado. They were married in Levita and then moved back here. She was originally from Clay County. And established a home in the Toonie Creek area of Clay County. And he was involved in sawmilling and logging and began a general store at some point in the late 1870s. He had one in a community that doesn't exist anymore. It's on some of the early 1900s Clay County maps.
Wow.
It was called Irena, and it just a little bit, it just says it was 10 miles from Hayesville, north of Hayesville.
No kidding.
So it was on Tusquity Creek.
I wonder how long it lasted that community was there.
I think it was there during the heyday of the timber industry.
Okay.
And there was probably a post office there, like there were post offices, you know. They didn't have to have a physical structure. It could be in someone's home or in someone's business. But he later moved to Cold Branch and then built a home on Shooting Creek that still stands today.
Oh, nice.
My brother Jim has rehabbed that house, and it's in pretty good shape now. Has it rented, and the old store building there is still standing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sits beside the house.
I'll have to go look at that. That sounds interesting. So back to your great-grandparents. How many children did they have?
They had 12.
Wow,
and,
big family.
One of them was my grandfather, Robert, and he took over the business in Hayesville in the early 1900s, prior to World War I. He served in World War I in France and then came back and continued the business. My dad got involved in it after World War II, and then I became involved in it when I graduated from college in 1973.
Wow.
So I'm fourth generation. My daughter Lauren would be fifth generation.
At the store.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. What a history. So your grandfather, and tell us a little bit about him and what he did as far as meeting his wife and how many children they had.
They only had one child, and that was Dad.
Oh, wow.
He was the second Robert, and I'm the third.
Okay.
And he was a veteran. He was 17, 18. He didn't serve in Europe or Japan, but when he graduated from Western Carolina, he came back home and took over the business in town. And it was groceries, and it's in the building that we're in now. It's Tiger Store. Half the store was groceries and half was dry goods and clothing.
Huh.
And then in 1961, 62, he moved the grocery end of it to the building that now George's occupies.
Oh, okay.
Hardware.
Right.
Had a supermarket there until 1992, I think. Dad passed away in 2000. So, and then we sold the property to John and Chris Spring, and they operate the George's Hardware there now. So it's back to a family-owned business
Right.
in town.
That's nice.
Which is great.
Yes, we keep it small, not so incorporated.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. When were you born, and what did you do as a child? Any kind of fun stories, or do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have three brothers, Joe, John, and Jim, and I was the only R in the family.
Well,
I was the first one, so I was born in 1951, went to work for my granddad bagging groceries when I was 9 years old.
no kidding.
And I think my brother Jim, for a year or two, he mowed yards in the season. And we both worked. In fact, all of us worked at one time or another in the supermarket or the stores, and spent 4 years at Western Carolina, and graduated in 1973, and came back and went into business with my grandfather in Tiger Store.
Is there any kind of stories you can tell us about being a kid in Hayesville back then? What there was to do, or?
Well, it was just a great place to grow up in.
Yeah.
It was a small town, and you know, the town was the playground, and everything down to the river, and we spent a lot of time in town, even late in the day. I can remember somebody coming and telling us it was time to come home and go to bed.
Right.
And people didn't, no one worried about us then. I think
No, and it was a safe place, and you didn't have to worry about if
Yeah.
someone else saw you doing something incorrect. They had, in my history, your neighbor's parents or your friend's parents would correct you just as fast as your parents would. So
Yeah,
most
of the neighborhood knew where we were, even if our parents didn't.
right,
So,
they could find you
yeah.
within a couple of questions.
And we're pretty quick to call our parents.
Yeah. So let's jump ahead. So you went to high school here also in Hayesville?
Yes.
All right, and then you said you went to Western Carolina.
Right.
And then what did you major in?
I majored in social science, anthropology, and most of that was in archaeology. So I just had a fascination with that field, and from the time I was a kid. So
Right, it's really interesting.
and I love history, so it was.
So what year did you graduate from Western?
I graduated in 1973.
So I understand that's about the time that you were doing these Spikebuck Mound digs, so 2 field schools.
Yeah, I worked on 2 of those field schools, 1973 and again in 1975. And I kind of kept my connection to the school. Those 2 or 3 years, I did a site survey for the state of North Carolina through Western Carolina University in 1974, and then I worked with the field school in 1975, and I volunteered in other archaeological sites. I did some volunteering when they were building the Brasstown Valley Resort course up there with an archaeologist from West Georgia, and I've tried to keep connected to Western Carolina and to Warren Wilson College, because a good friend, Dr. David Moore, is an archaeologist there, and in fact he's coming Tuesday to present on a site he's worked on for 20 plus years.
Oh wow. That Spikebuck Mound had to have been really interesting to be excavating that. Can you tell us about that at all?
Well, we didn't actually excavate the mound.
Oh, okay.
Our excavation was in the village site, which is called Quanasi, and it was one of a number of Cherokee villages in this area. But the fact that it was a mound site made it a more prominent town, and it was a trading town in. The British had a trading post there probably as early as 1700, and it operated until 1725 when a Creek Indian raiding party burned the village.
Oh.
And never reestablished itself to any degree after 1725. It probably, a lot of these villages moved up and down the river as they depleted, you know, trees and
The resources.
resources.
Natural resources.
Yeah. So Quantasy was sited at a place near the dam in 1797, 1798 by a guy named Benjamin Hawkins, who came down the Hiwassee River came out of Georgia, across the mountains from Raven County to Towns County, and indicated the old site of Quantasy Town on the west side of the river, near where the dam is now. Just
I
below the
noticed
dam.
that behind us where we have the replication of the Spikebuck Mound, it says something like 1500 AD.
Yeah,
Is that their estimate of when it was established?
it could go back as far as 1400, 1450. Yeah, and there's artifacts all over this landscape that go back 8,000 to 10,000 years.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
quite a few of those, mostly stone artifacts. And,
Any of the relics that you've got here, we have here at the Old Jail Museum, have any of them been dated?
well, they can date the Cherokee component by the ceramics.
Okay.
And the Cherokee ceramics were called Qualla. It was Qualla phase pottery. So that pretty much defines the period of intense Cherokee occupation.
Okay.
They began making pottery. I'm not sure, but my education leads me there. But when Dr. Jane Eastman was working across the creek from the Spikebuck Mound, she carbon 14 dated. I think she had a date of very early 1400s.
Amazing.
But she was looking for more carbon to substantiate that and didn't find it.
And I understand she worked on that for 4 different seasons, yeah?
Right. Yeah, I think it was 4.
Amazing.
She would use the month of May between spring break and summer school, bring a team in, and she worked in that area that's now owned by the county. That's going to be part of the rec, I guess, the rec park. So
That's awesome. Is there any other stories you'd like to tell us about Spikebuck and your time there? And
no, David Smart and I are doing a petroglyph survey, and we've been working with the U.S. Forest Service and connected to the Eastern Band, and also working closely with Dr. Brett Riggs and Dr. Jane Eastman in Western Carolina, trying to document petroglyphs just so that we at least get good photographs of them and get them on state records. And
are there many around the area?
There's quite a few. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw Dr. Riggs speak at the Beal Center last year and saw some of his pictures of the petroglyphs, and that's really amazing. If you should look that up, because it's really an interesting speech he gave about that. Let's talk about your family, your wife and children. When did you meet your wife, and what's her name?
Holly.
Holly?
Yeah, I met her at in college. She was from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
And we were married in 1975, and she was involved with the daycare center, directing the daycare center here for a few years.
Okay.
Did various positions in social work in Clay County and Towns County. And then she's been involved in the business.
And do you have children?
We have one daughter, Laura.
Lauren? And that's who will succeed you at the business of the store?
Yeah, if she decides that's what she wants to do. I mean, she helps us a lot. She's in there, you know. If she's not in there during the day, she's there at night. Although her full-time profession is physical therapist. So,
Oh, wow.
So she does that
Nice.
4 days a week, and
That's nice to keep it all in the family, though. I think that's important.
Yeah, it's good, and I mean, we're together. Maybe, you know, you end up being together maybe too much. But that's just the way it is.
As a mom, not
Small,
seeing my children often, my daughter's in Wilmington, and my son is in Orlando, Florida. So as a mother that doesn't see her children often, to me, that would be like heaven to see them all the time. But I can see after a while, it's like.
Well, you know, and we're all doing our own thing, so it's not like we try to stay out of each other's space.
Right.
Yeah.
Stay out of each other's way.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about music. When did you get involved in music, and what instruments do you play?
I learned to play banjo a little bit when I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old, and my mother and dad pretty much encouraged me and my brother Jim to learn to play an instrument. Mom wanted us to play piano, but that didn't really take with either one of us. So I learned. I started playing around on a ukulele, and then I really had this desire to learn to play banjo. And so Dad bought me a banjo, and Mom helped me with. Learned the scrub style, bluegrass style, and I played. I worked at it pretty diligently for about 2 years, and then I got bored with it because I couldn't find anyone my age to play. So I did play with some local guys, which was a lot of fun. Jim Ledford and Elman Ledford, and I can't remember who else was in that group. They would let me come sit in with them, and that was great.
And then picked up the guitar?
Yeah, I wanted to play guitar after when the British invasion happened.
Right.
And some of my friends in school were playing guitar, so I ended up switching to guitar mostly.
Well, I understand you were a founding member of Irons in the Fire along with Dave Peters and Rebecca Taylor Scott and Joe West. What year was that?
We started that band. It was actually also with Paul Jones.
Jones.
About 1986, I think. And recorded 3 cassettes, 2 5-song cassettes and 1 2-song Christmas cassette. And we just had a lot of fun. We just got together really as songwriters, and then it kind of got. We ended up with 5 and 6 of us, and did 3 or 4 full-length CDs.
Wow.
And
do you remember how old you were the first song you ever wrote?
I think I was in 8th grade.
8th grade.
I don't know what my age was. I just got kind of fascinated with the process of songwriting, and it was probably I'd probably been reading poetry.
Right.
At the time.
So does it start with the lyrics and then you make the tune, or does it start with the tune and then you make the lyrics?
It can be either way. I've had lyrics in my head and come up with a chord progression and melody, or sometimes with me it's a guitar riff.
You get this little riff in your mind, and then think about
yeah.
the song that
Think
you can
about
write with it.
what subject matter that feels like. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. And let's talk about your singer-songwriter series that you have through the Peacock Performing Arts Center. I understand you've got 6 shows coming up this summer.
Yeah. This is the 13th year, maybe 12th or 13th year I've done that. Dick and Denise Osborne had the idea to do it way back, and we kind of struggled with it for a couple of years, and then it took off. And
it's got quite a following today.
Yeah, and I've been able to get some really established, talented writers in there, and it's been fun. The important thing for me is that the Peacock does well with it.
Sure.
Because I think we're so fortunate to have
a theater
in
like town. My gosh,
yeah,
yes.
And it's a great theater.
And that these songwriters are getting recognition, and they're getting their name and their music out there. So the upcoming dates for this summer are April 20th, June 8th, June 29th, August 10th, September 14th, and October 19th. And you can go to thepeacocknc.org to look at exactly who's going to be there at these shows.
Yeah, it's a great venue for those guys that come in. I mean, you know, they can sit and play in front of a very appreciative audience in a space that has great sound and that's comfortable.
Right.
So, the Historical Arts Council has sponsored that event for a while now through their Grassroots Arts Council grants.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you know which show it is this summer yet?
No, I
that
don't.
Okay.
But you know, my take on it is, we list the Arts Council as a sponsor for all of them.
Oh, I see.
So
it's not just one particular.
Yeah, I mean, they might want to have their name billed as a sponsor for one of them, but I try to give the sponsors credit every show, and it's in the program.
Would you like to mention the other sponsors you have for the Singer-Songwriter Series?
Well, it would get into individuals.
I
and
see.
And I'd leave somebody out. And
Sure. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
You can find Rob Tiger on Instagram, and it's just Rob Tiger, correct? Or is it Tigers?
It's Rob Tiger Hayesville.
Rob Tiger
as far
Hayesville?
as the music end of it.
For the music?
Yeah.
And then Tiger Store and Chinqupins, is it ice cream and soda bar?
Chinqupins Soda Bar, I think is the way it's listed.
Chinqupins Soda Bar is on Facebook. You can find that. Is there a website that you'd like to mention? Like an actual www.
We do have a Tiger Store and Chinqupins as a website.
So Tiger Store and Chinqupins.com.
Yeah.
All right. And then let me say they've got some beautiful clothes in there and a lot of neat little, I can't even list everything I've seen. You know, everything from keychains to cards, stock to...
Yeah, and we sell ice cream. So
and lots of ice cream.
Yeah. Kids love that. So
sure. I just want to make sure that I've covered everything. According to Bing Copilot, you have authentic storytelling, soulful melodies, and a genuine connection to the human experience, which I thought was a really nice little description for you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about? Anything else you're getting into these days?
No, I mean, I try to keep up with all the nonprofits in town. I think we're fortunate to have that kind of volunteer base in a small town like this with Historic Hayesville, Inc., Clay County Historical Arts Council.
I understand you're a founding member and board member of CCCRA, which is Clay County Community Revitalization Association. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
When did you start that?
We started that in 1998, and with the help of an organization called Handmade in America. They were based in Nashville, and they umbrellaed. At the end of their tenure, they umbrellaed, I think, 14 small towns and communities in western North Carolina.
Wonderful.
Helped them with revitalization efforts.
So give us an example of revitalization that you may have already done in Hayesville previously.
Well, CCCRA, the first project we undertook was beginning restoration of the courthouse. And so we followed that through. It took close to 20 years.
Wow.
We got that done. And we partnered with Sabo, which is the local biking group, at the time headed by Joanna Atkinson. She's still on our board, and we accomplished building the Jackrabbit Mountain Biking and Hiking Trails.
I've been out there. It's really nice.
And then in 2010, we finished, 2007, we started on the project here at the museum, the Cherokee
Homestead?
Homestead exhibit.
Yes, if you haven't been there, please go and look. They have a summer house, a winter house, they have the, some of the other things, the corn
crib. And,
corn crib.
yeah.
They have a hollowed out canoe made from one tree. It's amazing. I saw a few of the pictures from CCHAC's old photo albums where it was were actually being in the process of being hollowed out. And it was really interesting. And it's a great place to bring your kids to show them a little bit of Cherokee history and for them to actually see how the Cherokee lived here locally. So it's really, really a great project down there.
Yeah, that's been good. I mean, we developed, through the help of one of our board members, Sandy Nicolette, we developed a curriculum, and I'm guessing we've had in excess of 12,000 students go through this exhibit as outdoor classroom experience. And our other focus in CCCRA is the community outreach, which includes Friday night concert series and membership, and so it's a busy organization.
Yeah.
And we've maintained a really strong board. But this coming Thursday, we have an outdoor classroom. We've got the Museum of the Cherokee People coming over to help with a fourth grade project.
Wonderful.
So we'll have about 90 fourth graders out here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Some hands-on outdoor classroom fun.
That's awesome. I really appreciate, and I know the community appreciates all your efforts in that.
Yeah, the school's been very cooperative, and I mean that's great that they're incorporating some Cherokee history in their curriculum, and it's great to get kids outside and let them experience another culture. Really.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
So it's,
Are there any other stories you'd like to share with us today before we wrap this up? I don't want to miss anything.
God, you've probably got plenty.
We got enough? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it. I was really looking forward to this interview, Robin. I thank you, and I know our viewers are going to thank you so much. I would like to remind you all that we are on 4 different social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And please check out our website. It's clayhistoryartsnc.org. Now, I want to let you all know that April will be the end of our one-on-one with Clay County History series. I have one date left on April 19th if anyone wants to grab that for our season finale. We're hoping to bring it back next winter, but after April we're going to start focusing on our Festival on the Square coming up in July and our silent auction in September, and the museum will be open. Memorial Day to Labor Day is usually our schedule for that. But if anyone would like any more information, please just email me at cchac@outlook.com. And I thank you again, Rob, for coming, and thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one.